this computer. Okay. So now we are just going into it immediately. Okay. So look at the graph you are going to be answering. And I'll start from up, down. So this is the graph. And this is the question. Graph, this is the question. So as we said earlier, the first thing we need to do is to understand the marking criteria. I think we've understood that. The next thing we need to do is to write our introduction. So our introduction is paraphrasing the question. So this is the question. So I want Tolu to paraphrase the question, please, for us, because that will form our introduction. But before Tolu paraphrases the question, I want to chip in something quickly. So when you're paraphrasing the question, a number of things must reflect the components that you're talking about. So here we have countries. There are 5 countries. You should actually reflect in your introduction. 1. 2, the units, if it's a graph like this of the y-axis, should reflect in your introduction. All right. And if there's a time duration as well, it should reflect in your introduction. And what it is talking about, of course, has to be there. So now I want Tolu to go ahead and give us the introduction. And as he's saying it, I'll be typing it out and we'll start our essay. So Tolu, please.
Okay.
So this is the question again. This is the graph.
Okay. So I'm trying to capture.
So let me do something. Let me put the both of them on the same page. Maybe to help.
Yes. Thank you.
Let me delete this. Put this here. X. Okay. Control-V. So let me. All right. You can see it, right? Like is it good?
Yeah. Yes, I can see it.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm just supposed to paraphrase. I should paraphrase this part in bold, right?
That's exactly what you're doing.
Okay. So let me start this way.
But sorry, before you go ahead, okay?
Okay.
Before you go ahead, I brought the graph to you so that you can see that there are some extra details in the graph that is not in this part in bold. So you also have to take note of that. By the extra detail, I mean these CO2 emissions in metric tons. You should actually take note of it. And when you're paraphrasing, don't forget you use that, change your sentence structure or use some new words. All right, so go.
The main carbon dioxide emissions per person in metric tons across the United Kingdom, Sweden, Italy, and Portugal. Within the time period 1967 and 2007.
Okay, so
is depicted.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Is depicted by the graph below. I don't know how I'm supposed to have that one, check.
Okay, so now let's see what they said. The mean, come again, the mean.
Yeah, the mean carbon dioxide.
Okay, so carbon dioxide.
Yes, CO2. Okay.
Carbon dioxide emission in metric tons, Abi?
Yes.
You say metric tons per person. Okay.
In emission, the country, the main carbon dioxide emission is tons per person. Within
the
United Kingdom,
so within
Sweden,
the UK, Sweden.
Sweden.
So let me just look at it. Sweden, Italy, and Portugal. The UK, Sweden,
Italy,
and Portugal. Okay.
Yeah. I said across 1967. I'm coming. I think I used across for the first. I'm coming.
No, you can restructure. Well, after we write it, you can restructure anything. After you read it, you can restructure.
Okay. Okay. So across the time frame, 1967 and 1970.
1967 and I think it's 2007.
2007. Yes, 2007.
You said it's depicted, right? You said it's
yes.
In the graph.
By the below, yes, by the graph below.
By the graph below. So the mean carbon dioxide emission in metric tons per person within the UK, Sweden, Italy, and Portugal across the time frame 1997 and 2007 is given by the graph below. Is there anything you want to adjust? So now, this thing I'm doing now is what is known as you're writing the essay in the exam. This is how you think about it. But ideally, before you actually go into this essay, we should already know what will fit in your different paragraphs. But I don't want to take us through that yet because it will take too long. I want us to get there and do it. But so now, when you write like this in the exam, immediately you're supposed to go back and read it to yourself to see if it makes sense. So now let's read it and see if there's anything you want to adjust. Because I'm writing with pencil, you can erase if you want. So yeah.
Okay. Yes, the mean carbon dioxide emission in metric tons per person within the UK, Sweden, Italy, and Portugal. Okay, I want to change this.
Okay.
I want to change mean carbon dioxide emission in metric tons per person within the UK, Sweden, Italy, and Portugal from 1967.
Beautiful. From
1967 to 2007.
Beautiful. So 2007. Let me be sure that
is
7.
Yeah, so it's depicted by the graph below.
Excellent.
Oh, but I don't know whether in or by is the better.
In, yeah, I'll use in the graph. I'll use in, but I think it's depicted in the graph. Okay. A person within the UK. Okay. By is correct. It's depicted in the graph. By is correct. It doesn't sound wrong to me. So now this is a very, very good paraphrasing. Very good. So now, what can I adjust? So now you can. It is a graph. What you did is you change the structure. It's a very brilliant thing to do. If you do not have any extra words to use, you change some structure. But what kind of graph is this?
Graph. Sorry.
Huh? Hello, Tony. What kind of graph is it? Hello, Tony, are you there? Hello. Okay. Is there someone that wants to stand in for a minute?
Sorry.
Okay, sir. So what kind of graph is this? What's this graph known as?
It looks like a line graph.
Beautiful, it's a line graph. So that's what I would have just added. So instead of the graph below.
Okay.
By the line graph below.
Line graph below.
So this paraphrasing should give you your full marks. There's like full marks paraphrasing, I think, in my opinion. It captures everything that is here, all right? And it has the same meaning, and you beautifully paraphrased. So now we're going to the next part. So this is what your introduction should be. And don't forget, anytime you write an introduction, you should leave a line, any paragraph, a line. The next thing I'm going to do is the overall. So this is like the most important paragraph in your task 1, the overall. So now we're going to give the honor of doing our overall to Busayo. Busayo, are you there?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm here.
So now, Busayo, I want you to give us the overall for this.
Okay.
graph. And before you go ahead,
Mhm.
I know that you have some very good knowledge about writing graphs. So when you give us the overall, I want you to give us the reasoning behind the overall and why that is your overall. So go. What will be your overall for this?
Okay. Well, overall, it can be seen that the amount of carbon dioxide emitted steadily rose over the period of time in consideration in Portugal and Italy, while the amount of carbon dioxide emitted in United Kingdom and Sweden decreased over the stated period of time between 1967 to 2007.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So now, I expected you to say something like that, but what you're not going forward to say. So let me just write it out first so we don't forget it. Let me just go
What
forward.
did you say?
I want to write it out so we don't forget it first. I have
Oh,
some more
okay,
questions
okay.
for you.
What did you say?
Overall.
Enjoy your class.
So who is there?
Sorry, I can hear you.
Okay,
sorry
so
about
please,
that.
so just go again. Said overall.
Okay, so
The
overall,
amount
it can
of,
be seen.
okay, it can be
Yeah, it
seen.
can be seen.
Overall, it can be seen that
The amount of carbon dioxide emitted steadily rose over the stated period of time between 1967 to 2007 in Portugal and Italy.
okay.
While the amount of carbon dioxide emitted in United Kingdom and Sweden decreased over the same period of time.
Yeah. So now, before you move on, I want you to do what's that thing called? A proofread of your sentence, yeah. So proofread it, not the typo, the typo is my error. Like proofread the sentence itself, like the word choice and the,
Okay.
so go again, go through it. You are seeing it, Abby?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can
so
see it now.
proofread it, like make it better. Like,
Okay. Overall, it can be seen that the amount of carbon dioxide emitted, maybe I can rephrase this. It can be seen that the amount of carbon dioxide emission instead of
okay.
emitted.
Okay, carbon dioxide emission. Okay, CO2 is still
Emission.
correct. CO2
Yes,
emission.
CO2 emission
Mhm.
went through. Sorry, I'm trying to look for network.
Okay, let me look at it. Let me show you. Look
Okay.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more. Looks like it's better here. Okay, so hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Look at your sentence again. Any other thing you want to? That was one.
Steadily rose over the stated period of time between 1967 and 2007, but while the amount of emitted in the UK and Sweden increased over the same. Okay, I can't say any other thing I need to correct, but
Okay.
I don't mind if you point me in the right direction.
Okay.
Is there something I'm missing?
Before I point it out, this is a very good overall. You should get your full marks overall. But just to add some extra pizzas now, not pizzas, but like
Okay.
there's this thing they call referencing. When you write
Okay.
and you reference something. So now you can see you said overall it can see the amount of CO2 emission. The amount of CO2 emission steadily rose over the stated period in Portugal. Why that
Okay.
in UK and Sweden, or while the amount emitted in UK and Sweden, because we already know what you're talking about. Your introduction
Okay.
CO2 emission is this. Your first sentence in the same, this is one sentence, so you know.
Yes,
When you
yes.
say, why that? That's what I think. I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this one, why that emitted in CO2, or why the amount emitted in, sorry, why that emitted in UK and Sweden, or why the amount emitted in UK and Sweden. You are referring to CO2 with this or that, like
Okay.
a pronoun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just me splitting hairs. You're not going to be marked down, but I feel it will bump your grammar higher up. I don't know if anyone has something to add to that or something they want to point
Okay.
out. Anybody? Okay, nobody disagrees or agrees. So just go ahead. But what do you think? Do you think we should go? Why the amount emitted in the UK? Or you want to
No,
put-
I think I agree with you.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
I agree with you.
Okay. So what that does is here, when they are marking, they will note that this person actually knows that they can refer to another point, like can use pronouns. Let me show you in the marking scheme, just to see. Can you see? For coherence and cohesion, you use referencing and substitution.
Okay.
So that's why when you can, try to refer to stuff in pronoun form. So thank you. You did a very good job. But before I leave you, I want you to explain why your overall was this way, because I suppose I might not understand why you made these sentences as your overall. So explain your thinking behind it.
Okay. Can you? Okay. The reason why I made this sentence is because if you look at the countries that their own emissions are steadily rising, that is Portugal and Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Between 1967 to 2007, well, the rise was not so well. It has been steady, not like there was a sharp. It has just been gradually climbing up. You know, there was a material I saw describing line graphs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can describe there's a steep increase.
No.
This is just
you're going into detail. Like I
oh,
want you
okay.
to just like explain to me, like I don't know how to write overall. Explain overall to me, like that.
I think the idea of overall, from what you explained to me before, was that you look at the whole graph as a whole and try to, as much as possible, summarize what is going on. So you always look for things that are alike. You try to group things. That way you'll be able to make the adequate comparison and be able to take everything as a whole. So in this graph, I try to look at there are two countries that look similar, and then two countries also that are also similar. So Italy and Portugal look like they are following the same trend, while United Kingdom and I think Sweden look like they're following the same trend. So I just tried to follow that.
That's excellent. So now, you've explained exactly how that explained it to every other person. Now, to put it into more context, what Busayo is saying is this paragraph is known as the summary paragraph or the overall paragraph. And if you don't summarize, you are not going to get your full marks for task 1. Now, what do you do in a summary paragraph? If it's a bar chart, a line graph is actually one of the easiest. It's one of the easiest graphs to summarize. What you do is that you look for the patterns. If it's over a period of time, you look for the patterns that are increasing, a pattern that is decreasing, or a pattern that is remaining the same. So now you have that idea in your head. That's what I went into my exam with: increasing, decreasing, remaining the same. That's the thing that should always be in your head for task 1. There is a graph or even a table that has different years. Just think increasing, decreasing, remain the same. Some people say increasing, decreasing, remain the same or fluctuating. But thankfully, when you look at this graph, you can see two easy patterns. You can see what? An increase. By an increase, I mean, look at the point at the beginning, 1967, and look at where it is now at 2007. That's what you're looking for change in. So you can see two patterns. There's a pattern of increase and there's a pattern of decrease. So that has already helped you with your overall. It's so easy. So now, and as from the graph, you can see that 2 countries are increasing, 2 countries are decreasing. Very simple. So as Busayo just said, so you put the 2 countries that are increasing together, put the 2 countries that are decreasing together, and that forms your overall. Note that in your overall, you must not put any figure. You cannot start mentioning 2, 4, 6, 8, or anything along the y-axis when you're doing overall. You're just supposed to say the pattern: increase, decrease, remain the same. That's for a graph. But if it is a diagram that is showing you a process, okay? So there's a popular question that says the process of generating electricity from water, it goes underground, then comes out to steam, then moves the motor. that kind of essay, there's nothing that is increasing, reducing, or remaining the same. So you will not go that way. Instead, you look at how many stages are there in the process. So there are 6 stages that will form part of the overall. You also look at what processes are there. Some of those some of those diagrams will have processes that are occurring in the day, processes that are occurring in the night. Some will have processes that are occurring over the ground. Some are having processes that are occurring under the ground. So these are the things that you take note of for process diagrams. So you can say, so the process diagram, so overall, it's obvious that there are 6 stages involved in the production of electricity from water. There are 3 that occur underground, 3 that occur over the ground. So that's your overall for those processes. But for graphs, don't forget, especially if it has dates and time with it, think what is increasing, what is decreasing, and what is remaining the same. And that's how you go ahead with it. I hope that's clear before we move on. Very
Yes.
clear, right? Inobong,
Yes.
did you get that? Inobong there. Inobong. Ini. Hello, Ini. No
Yeah,
response. Sorry, did you get that?
I did. So are we saying that this duration that she mentioned, 1967 and 2007, is allowed?
Yeah, the duration is in the x-axis. Doesn't go into the detail because she might not need to put that duration actually. She just says over the stated period of time because she has already
Fine.
given us the period of time above. So there's no need, but if you put it there, there's no problem. It's an x-axis factor. It's a y-axis that you should not talk about, like what is now going to be, what you'll be talking about in your body paragraph.
Your body paragraph.
Do you get?
Yeah, I do.
So now, for the next points, who has not spoken today? Okay, so I'll use Dari. Dari will go for the next paragraph. But before Dari goes on, note that your overall gives you the idea behind your structuring of your body paragraphs. So from this overall, it has made our life easy. So our body paragraph is going to be 2 paragraphs, one for ones that are increasing, another one for the ones that are decreasing. Very simple. So now, and that is how the overall, that's what the overall does for you. It helps you group your ideas into 2 different points so that it's easier to write. So now, Dari, tell us our first body paragraph.
Okay,
Let me show you the diagram again.
please go ahead.
Remember our overall is this.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and that is what we're going to use to build our body paragraph. So look at it again and give me first body paragraph.
Okay. From the line graph, the number of carbon dioxide emission per person in Italy steadily increased from 4 metric tons in the year 1967. So just below 8 metric tons in the year 2007.
Okay, continue. Maybe I should type it so that I don't forget. So now you said from the line graph, Abi?
Yes.
On the line graph, the number of
carbon dioxide in Italy
okay,
increased steadily from 4 metric tons.
4 metric tons, okay,
to slightly below,
okay, 8
metric tons in 2020, in 2007,
2007.
2007.
Okay.
Also,
Comma or full stop? What do you want me to write?
full stop.
Full stop.
In the same vein, go back to the graph.
Okay. Okay.
In the same vein,
In the same vein.
yes, there was a steady increase.
There was a steady increase.
Yes. I need to see the graph.
Okay, sorry. There was steady increase.
Of carbon dioxide emission from slightly over 1 metric tons in Portugal. Okay, let me say in 1967.
So that in the same vein, there was a steady
Yes.
increase.
Yes.
In the same vein, there was a steady increase in carbon dioxide emission.
Yes. From slightly above 1 metric tons.
From slightly above.
Yes.
1 metric ton. Okay, from slightly above 1 metric ton. What am I typing? From slightly above 1 metric ton.
Yes. In year 1967. So over 5 metric tons.
Okay.
In the year 2007.
So now you can see
as measured in Portugal.
As measured in Portugal.
Yes.
Okay. So now I want you to do something. I want you to read through this graph, through this paragraph, and do a proofread of it before you move on. Because I'll get someone else to also proofread, and I want you to point out what you think is the error. So now I would carry this Ctrl+C and put it here, so you can just be seeing it. Ctrl+V. Let me reduce the size so you can see it. So if there's anything you feel you need to adjust, you can just adjust. Just look at it. You can see the graph, Abi. It's clear, it's in your vision.
Yes, I can see it.
Beautiful. So read the sentence, read your paragraph again. Tell me what you think we need adjusting. Metric tons. Hello, Daria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm reading it.
Okay.
Okay. I think in the sentence, in the same vein, there was a steady rise. Change the increase to rise.
Steady rise, okay?
Yeah.
Any other thing?
Nothing.
Huh?
For now, nothing.
Okay. So thank you very much for a very good, just like good attempt. Okay, I must say a good attempt. Right. So I want Tomiwa to critique this paragraph. Tomiwa Ailola. Please critique this paragraph.
Yes. From my hand, I would have started.
No, not
by
from your
saying-
end. Not from your end.
Okay.
Look at this paragraph and tell me the things that you think would drop the mark down and that should not be there and what will have been done to replace them. So read it one by one and tell me, okay. Like
From
this
the
is
line
what this is
graph.
our point. This is just imagine that you
Okay.
wrote this graph.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now critique it and tell me things that you adjust in it. Now go.
From the line graph, I think it should not be there.
Okay.
Then the number of carbon dioxide. Now you could have said the number of carbon dioxide emission per person in Italy. You just said the number of carbon dioxide in Italy increases.
I agree with you. Emission per person in Italy. So you said from the line graph. I also agree that if can be seen, we've already said our introduction that is depicted in the line graph below. So I agree that we can do without the line graph, but it's not a fatal error, but it will make your writing. Sorry. To make our writing better. So it's not a fatal error, but you can do without it. So now.
Okay.
So Tomiwa, I'm listening.
Yes. So the number of carbon dioxide emission per person in Italy increased steadily from 4-centric tones to slightly below. Here, it was clearly specified that it just like you are making an overview of what's happened in that happened in the time frame in that country. I was expecting to hear him talk about what the changes that happened in 1997, the changes that happened between 1997 and 1997, then the changes that happened from 1997 to 2007.
Okay, so tell me how you will say it. I just say it how you would say it. Now,
okay, the number of carbon dioxide emission per person in Italy increased steadily from 4 metric tons to slightly above 6 metric tons in 1997. In 1977.
Wait, I'm coming. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
From 4 metric tons in 19, because you have to see where it increased from 1977
yes.
to
to slightly above 6 metric tons.
Slightly above 6 metric tons.
In 1977.
1977.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Yes. It now experienced